And you are welcome on SME today. The art director and lead recipe formulator at Nature's Goodies, Karima Jagun Ologolo, will join us here. She is actually here right now. Now, at Nature's Goodies, they help you transition from, your journey from artificial sugars to sweeteners and sweeteners to natural ones with their dried fruits and other very excellent recipes. You are welcome, Karima. Good to have you here.
Thank you.
Now, it's very interesting when I heard what you do, and as a lead recipe formulator, I wanted to ask so much more. Now, you, what exactly do you guys do at Nature's Foods? And how do you come up with these recipes?
Well, at Nature's Goodies, basically, we are into drying fruits. We dry the fruits, we help to extend the shelf life, and it also gives you an opportunity to have your fruits as snacks. And you can equally have it anywhere on the go.
Interesting. So you source for your fruits in and around Nigeria, I guess.
Yes.
What am I looking at right now? This is dried pineapple chips. I love pineapples, except that my daughter just can't stand them. She itches her. She says there's a certain sensation it gives her, which I've never, ever experienced. I don't know what it is. So it's a very, well, it's not messy, but it's a very liquid type fruit, when you're having it. So having it dried is very interesting. But am I missing out on anything when I dry these fruits?
At all. You're not missing out on anything because drying the fruits is under low heat over a period of time.
Okay.
So the nutrients are conserved. It's just like the typical situation where someone puts a pot of stew on the fire and technically forgets it. What happens? The stew dries up and then it becomes sweeter. The nutrients become and the ingredients are now concentrated and the volume is reduced. That's exactly what happens with drying.
Wow.
Only that we don't forget it. We time
Okay.
it.
Very interesting. How exactly are you a recipe formulator? Is this something you do by research or is it by experience?
Well, kind of both. I'm into research of how to get other sweeteners from natural stuff like dates, date syrup, date powder. I know there are people doing it, but one thing I have observed is that date syrup doesn't particularly have a shelf life.
Okay.
You have to keep it in the fridge or in the freezer. So I'm looking into how we can have it and still preserve it without adding any form of chemical preservative to it
I was going to talk about
and keep it on the table.
That's very interesting. So what exactly do you have against artificial sugars?
Well, the truth is, artificial sweeteners, artificial preservatives, artificial asparagus, they are not particularly good for our
They're
health.
built for us, are they?
Over a period of time, they tend to begin to give us issues. Now, the way it gives you issues with one person is different from the other person. But the bottom line is they tend to give us issues. Now, if we look back to our forefathers, we find that they are stronger, they were stronger and healthier.
Especially stronger teeth.
Teeth, yes. And a lot of us now, we see very young people coming down with diseases, illnesses that we knew as illnesses of the old. Diabetes, for example. I actually saw a documentary where a 3-year-old was diabetic. And I was like, what's going on? And then also all these artificialities, some of us actually react to it one way or the other. I, for one, I always noticed that when I drank certain things, I always had a bitter taste in my mouth every time. So as a child, I just stayed away from them because I didn't like the bitter after effects. But I like sweet things. I found myself just staying away from this. I said, I don't want this bitter aftertaste. And with time, I stumbled across an imported version of these. And it was actually strawberry then. And then I was like, this is interesting. It was really sweet. It was natural. And then I began to, look into it. I found out what I could do and get it done.
Tell you what, let's come and talk about the business side of things, which is what most people are very interested in. This is your occupation, is it? This is what you do that occupies most of your time, or all of your time, if I'm not mistaken. All of your time. And this is how you get by. You make a livelihood out of this. If I was going to start packaging and also formulating how do I get started? Is it something I have to go to a school for, get a certain kind of training for, or have a certain kind of experience from?
Well, yes, it is best. One needs to have certain experience. It is best.
Any academic background, or I'm just good as an accountant who just simply wants to go into this kind of packaging?
Well, if you can get some.
What's your
form of-
background, for instance?
Well, my background is biochemistry.
There you go. It's no wonder, is it?
My background is biochemistry. I have BSc, MSc biochemistry.
MSc, that's interesting.
Yeah.
You must have been very, very interested in chemistry then, and biology.
Well, yes, but eventually I trailed off and came in here.
Food nutrition.
Part of some of the things I discovered along the line, just
So for
they're
any
not-
ordinary person, would they have to go get certain degrees to be able to do what you do?
not 100%.
Not 100%.
It's good when you have a knowledge in
Certify you
nutrition,
as, yeah.
when you have a knowledge in packaging, when you have all those knowledge, because when you're doing food and it's just for the home, you can do it in one way. But when you're doing food for commercial purpose,
Yeah.
it's a whole different ball game.
Okay. I talked in the beginning about sourcing these material. As a business, for instance, some of your raw materials are not basically here. You can't find them here in Nigeria. I'm looking at this little bowl here. These are strawberries, aren't
Yeah.
they? Wow. How do you get them?
I get them from Jos.
you can grow strawberries in Jos. I
Strawberries
remember.
are grown in Nigeria, in Jos.
Oh,
I get them from
yes, yes. Do you dry these as well?
I haven't started drying strawberries commercially
Commercially, okay.
because I didn't particularly like the outcome.
Okay.
So I'm still working on it.
Funny thing about strawberries, they're bitter, aren't they?
Well, not all the time.
Commercially, we're made to. May I? May I?
Feel free.
Commercially,
They're
we're made to
frozen
believe that
strawberries,
they are sweet, but the truth is that they have a very strong sour taste.
They have a strong sound.
Mary,
They're
Mary,
not
Mary, can I have a
particularly
fork from the kitchen, please? I'd like to take one of these out and actually eat it, if you don't mind.
sweet. Cool.
My debutante, very beautiful assistant will help me with a fork. Come, bring it over. Come on, bring it over. Bring it over. Thank you very much.
You're supposed to give someone a fork like
With
this. but I'm going
grace.
to give it to you like this.
Thank you very much, madam. So I'm going to try out one of your products, and I'm going to give a feedback. Strawberries.
Frozen.
Woo!
It's cold.
It slaps.
And cold.
Commercially, we're made to think that they're sweet, but they're actually sour.
Strawberries naturally don't have that sweet taste. But they can be juicy.
They are.
They can be somewhere in between sour, sweet, and
Yeah.
some can actually be sour.
quite
That's
sour.
to be sincere.
All right.
But what I've observed is that strawberries from Jos, especially when it's in the season, they're actually rather juicy.
So how
So
do-
you'll need to add some sweetener to it.
So bring them all the way from Jos. How do you preserve them through that journey? Are they flown
Air freight,
over, or
yes,
are
they're
they
flown down to
flown?
Lagos.
You can't drive them down.
You can't
can
no.
They have to
You
be
can't
flown.
drive them down.
Does that affect the cost when you serve them as a finished product?
Well, technically, yes.
And then your bottom line, how much do you make when you have all these things, all these raw materials come to you, and then you process them and then you put them out? Do you make a very healthy profit margin?
I'm happy with what I make.
You're happy. You're a bit too
Yes.
content here, Karima.
No, actually, when I started this idea, I was looking a lot into trying to get people to see that you can actually get something sweet without going artificial.
Okay.
And a lot of people still don't believe it yet.
Okay.
So I don't particularly look at the financial benefits.
All right.
I'm just after getting a lot more people to know about it.
It's very altruistic. That's very nice. Is there a community of people who are like you that one could join and be a part and actually be able to grow in these efforts?
Well, I've come across a few other people that are into natural, but I don't know yet if there's a community. I'm also trying to look for.
Maybe you should start one then, I guess. There are a few other items on our table. There's an oil bottle there. Is that oil or honey? That's oil.
No, that's honey.
That's honey. Okay, I have a very strong aversion to honey, but it's okay.
Yeah, I hear some people have aversions.
Yeah, I'm not a honey person. It's just comes out the wrong end of the bee. So I'm like, ugh. And what is this paste we have here?
Okay, this is jaggery.
What now?
Jaggery.
Not begiri.
sugar, no, not begiri.
Jaggery.
Jaggery. Sugarcane sugar.
Oh, okay.
Yes. So
Wait,
I usually,
Where do we get our regular sugar from? Sugarcane.
it's also from sugarcane, but that is processed. That has
This
been
is not
bleached.
processed.
That has been bleached and some other things have been added to it. But this one is the sugarcane juice boiled down, concentrated, and then packed.
And what does it taste like?
It's like sugar.
Tastes like sugar. I would really like to know, so I'm going to once again go at it with my trusty fork here, just so I have to.
It's hard.
It's like a rock, guys.
It's hard. It's hard.
It's like a rock.
But it's actually easy to break.
Okay.
I usually like putting it because it doesn't have that preservative and all. I usually like putting it in the freezer.
Okay, I got a
But-
little piece here.
But from the market, we are told that you can just keep it anywhere where there's fresh air and it's good.
It's delicious.
It's very sweet.
It doesn't taste like sugar. It's delicious.
Yeah.
I love it. Can I keep it?
By all means.
I'm definitely gonna be keeping this one. Karima, thank you very much.
You're welcome.
I hope that your endeavors are well, celebrated by people, because it's a fantastic thing to do, especially when you're looking out for people's healthiness.
Thank
if
you.
there's a word like that.
Can I say something?
Thank you. Yes, please. What was you?
Yeah,
what
you
could-
mentioned something about your daughter complaining about pineapples. I've also heard and I've experienced it also, but although I don't experience it all the time, but it's mostly got to do with the eyes of the pineapple.
Oh, okay. So if
So
you
when
cut
you're-
those out,
Yes, when you're
you won't
cutting
have
the
that problem.
pineapple, try
Thank
to
you
cut
for that tip.
a lot of that off.
Thank you for that. From an expert. Thank you very much, Karima. Good to have you here, and we're looking forward to having you and most of all your products next time.